Welcome to a crash course on what's socially acceptable to satirize. It's such a stupid intro. Alright, so for the first part of this video, I'm kind of trying to copy the style of this guy, Mini Minuteman. So it's going to involve a lot of slam cuts. What are slam cuts, you might ask? Alright, so just a bit of background history on this topic. It's 1945, and America has just decided that past the Nazis, communism is the next worst thing. So they decide to make one of the most extensive nuclear arms programs in the world, while also making one of the most extensive radar systems in the world, NORAD. And so the USSR sees this and goes, wait, hold on. And so they make their own system, OKO. I cannot speak Russian, so I'm just going to call it OKO. It roughly translates to I, but whatever. Sorry, I considered looking like a stereotypical Russian person, but I realized that would be too offensive. So I'm just here to mention that in NORAD's brief, official 42-page history PDF, there's a couple interesting things to know. In 49, the USSR is referred to as the Russians, and in 53, they're referred to as the Soviet Union. Soviet Sam away. Alright, so now, a few years after both the US and the USSR tackled Hitler, America turns to Stalin and goes, well, so I'm so glad that we finally got rid of that mustache menace. Wait, and so now the USSR and the USA have nukes, and they have the capacity to check if said nukes were launched from the other side. And so begins the coolest war of all time. It's the Cold War. Yes, it's the Cold War. Wait, I forgot I'm meant to be copying Minuteman. What would he be doing here? Oh, wait, I got it. Hold on. When he gets stressed out or angry in a video, he drinks alcohol. Well, with my totally non-alcoholic drink, I think it's time that we got on to the
Top 10 nuclear close calls. Number 7, the 1967 solar flare incident.
Okay, so just as a quick explanation as to why I only have 7, I was mainly looking for stuff that would have led to an exchange, not just any old time that there was a nuclear accident. There's actually a pretty intensive wiki article on this, but, you know, who really cares about those, right? All those times that the US just dropped bombs in places they probably shouldn't have and they didn't go off and stuff like that, which happened quite a few times. But anyways, back to it. Alright, so it's 1967, and NORAD has just updated some of their systems, when a few weeks later, they stop working. And so, you know, according to them, there's only one possible answer as to why that happened.
It's gotta be the Russians, right? Well, of course. And jamming our radars is an act of war. Troubling indeed. Let's send some back their way.
Lucky us, they didn't actually send anything because science exists, and somebody else in NORAD came in and said,
it's a solar flare.
Ah, I see. Fair enough. Okay, look, I still think that our Nike missiles are sponsored by Nike. Nike wasn't even founded when we first...
Number 6, the Goldsboro incident of 1961.
Remember when editor Sam said that they didn't care about times when there wouldn't have been an exchange? Yeah, I was using an advanced tactic there called lying. Alright, so it's January 24th, 1961, and a bombing plane carrying, you know, just casually 2 3 to 4 megaton nuclear bombs is flying over North Carolina. Hey, that seems kind of problematic. Oh, so, you know, the pilot in command orders everyone to eject from the plane. And before it crashes, somehow both of the bombs manage to exit the plane. Lucky for us, the US government and military had safety standards, and neither exploded. That being said, this is still in the 6th place, and that's because 3 of the 4 safety measures on one of the 2 bombs failed, and a single switch that goes from safe to not safe stopped it from exploding. I mean, to be fair, what difference does it make? Who really cares about North Carolina anyways, right?
Number 5, the 1995 Norwegian rocket incident.
Who doesn't like Norway? I don't. And you want to know why? Because of... Okay, so this is a complete deviation from the rest of the presentation we're talking about, but I really want to talk about this, okay? So look, they have this spot called Nordkap, which they advertise as the northernmost point of continental Europe. I feel like it's not that hard to determine that that is not the northernmost point of continental Europe. Like, you can look at it on Street View, you can see the spot. It's not... Sorry about that. I'm a very passionate GeoGuessr player. Alright, so this incident is the most recent one on the list, taking place in 1995, meaning it actually happened about 4 years after the end of the Cold War. So some Norwegian and American scientists launched a rocket to destroy the aurora over Svalbard. I bet most of you guys don't even know where Svalbard is, you non-GeoGuessr players. It's an island north of Scandinavia. So to Oko, and therefore to Russia, this kind of seemed threatening. I mean, it looked like a rocket, it seemed like a rocket, and it certainly moved like a rocket. And so, the issue gets its way all the way up to Russia's president at the time, Boris Yeltsin. And the Russian nuclear briefcase is actually activated, the only time during his presidency.
Hey, another little fun edit here. Actually, I'm gonna let this idiot sit here staring at nothing. I forgot to record the bit that was meant to go here. It's that the U.S. Air Force's intercontinental ballistic missile launch code until 1977 was just 00000000. So, that's a fun fact. Anyways, I'll let this doofus get back to it.
That's true, actually. Well, anyways, sorry. Luckily, the rocket was not determined to be a threat. But still, several nuclear subs were put on alert, so, that's always fun.
Number 4, the 1960 moonrise over Norway incident.
It's Norway again. It's Norway again. Of course it's Norway. Why wouldn't it be Norway? It's always going to be Norway. It's always Norway. Wow, that guy seems kind of racist. Glad I'm not him. Wait, is that a non-alcoholic beverage? Alright, so this was one of the closer calls on the list, because it probably would have actually led to a nuclear exchange if the leader of the USSR hadn't just happened to be in New York City at the time. Alright, so basically, a NORAD radar in Greenland goes, "There's dozens of nuclear missiles being launched from the Soviet Union at the United States."
Wait, what? Eh?
And so, my source says that NORAD had been fooled by the moonrise over Norway. They were bamboozled, apparently, hoodwinked even, which in my opinion is quite concerning, that a daily meteorological event can fool NORAD.
And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the top 3. Number 3, the 1969 North Korea incident.
Alright, so this one's pretty simple. A US biplane is shot down by North Korea, resulting in 31 deaths. And so Nixon finds out about this while in the pool and goes, "Bomb the..."
No, you can't say that. You can't say that on TV.
What do I say then?
Bomb the shrimp out of them.
Okay.
Right.
Alright, so Nixon finds out about this while in the pool and goes, "Bomb the shrimp out of them!" But luckily, his Secretary of Defense, Henry Kissinger, comes in and says, hey, he's drunk, don't do anything, and so he stops anything from happening until the next morning when Nixon had sobered up. Alright, hey, just a note, Sam C. being involved in the one regarding Nixon is not a coincidence.
Number 2, the 1983 Soviet nuclear false alarm incident. Just to be clear here, I'm not actually racist against people from Norway. For me, it's actually the Swedes.
We're back for another incident where a radar system failed and said that nukes were sent. Feels like this happens more than somebody failing a class at ASIJ. So this is one of the more famous examples of near-nuclear nothings, or NNN for short. You can look up that acronym, by the way. So this one requires a bit of context. Starting in 81 and going until 83, the US decided that it was a great idea to stress the USSR. A lot. And they did something that they called psychological operations. That sounds great, doesn't it? So what the US does is that it flies bombers straight at the USSR in their airspace and peels away at the last second. They station rockets in locations much closer to Soviet territory, such as, West Germany. And secretly moves ships close to Soviet military locations just to show off how sneaky they can be, because, why not? So, if Oko detects a nuclear missile heading towards the USSR, one could assume that there would be a retaliation right away. Lucky for us, that would never happen, right? The way that you're posing it makes it seem like that's what happens. So you're back. Are you still angry about Norway? Of course I am. Them the Norwegians with their high standard of living and... Is that a new drink? What was he talking about? Oh, yeah, sorry. So anyways, on September 26th, 1983, Oko detected an ICBM directed towards Russia. And according to military procedure, the correct response was to retaliate immediately. All right, so, luckily, the radar operator, Stanislav Petrov, decided that, he's like, if the US was going to nuke us, they'd use a lot more nukes. And so, a little while later, when Oka detects 4 more, Petrov again decides, yeah, it's gotta be false, right? It's gotta be false. He decides not to report it. Is this vodka? I will be taking over this class permanently from here. The old teacher was fired for alcoholism and racist tendencies. So yeah, had Petrov decided to report the alert, we probably wouldn't be alive right now. It's honestly kind of a miracle that he determined that both alerts were probably false alarms. And it's probably the closest we're actually ever going to get to nuclear Armageddon due to a false alarm from a radar station.
Honorable mentions.
Alright, so this part's going to be a little bit of a pause from the rest of the goofs and the gaffes, that's been in the rest of this video. It's just kind of going to be me going over some of the honorable mentions and talking about a few incidents that I found either interesting or funny during my research. Alright, so first up, we have the 2 times in the 50s that the US just accidentally drops nuclear bombs over the US. There isn't much to talk about here. They just kind of did it. It happened more than once. If I had a nickel for every time the US accidentally dropped a bomb, I'd have more than 1 nickel, which is concerning. So the second one is actually much funnier to me. So this one happens during the Suez Crisis back in '56, and NORAD got really, really pissy about a bunch of stuff that didn't really happen. So for example, they said that there's a bunch of unidentified aircraft over Turkey. It's a group of swans. They go, there's hundreds of MiGs over Syria. It's just a couple of MiG planes escorting the president of Syria back from Moscow. It was kind of funny. All right, and so the final one surprised me the most, and I'm just going to read the wiki article for this one. I can't read numbers. The 1965 Philippine C-A4 crash was a broken arrow incident in which a United States Navy Douglas A-4E Skyhawk attack aircraft carrying a nuclear weapon fell into the Sea of Japan from the aircraft carrier USS Ticonderoga. The aircraft, pilot, and weapon were never recovered. So there's just an unrecovered nuke somewhere off the Sea of Japan. I don't really have an effective transition for this, so we're just going to kind of use...
Number 1, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Wow, who would have guessed that it's going to be the Cuban Missile Crisis? Just to be clear here, this doesn't just the whole crisis itself, but something that actually happened during it. So during the crisis, a Russian sub, B-59, submerged and didn't surface for hours, eventually running low on oxygen. And US ships saw this happening and decided they would try to get the sub to surface by sending practice depth charges and 5 hand grenades down to the sub as a signal. Unsurprisingly, the crew of the B-59 thought,
This is bad. They're sending down depth charges.
What if their practice one? Maybe it was an accident?
There's only one logical explanation for this. We're at war. Fire the nukes.
okay. Lucky for us, the sub second in command pulled a Kissinger and calmed him down, but still, if you look at the doomsday clock, we weren't just close to midnight, we were on midnight. The clock was freaking out a little bit. It was right there. They say that climate change is the main thing threatening our extinction right now, but no, it's actually the US military. I'm gonna be, my passport is being revoked for that joke.
Thanks for watching.
Right, hi everybody, this wasn't quite as high quality as I was hoping it for it to be, but I still hope that you guys enjoyed. I don't think this quite outdoes my chemistry project from last year, but I would argue that this was pretty darn good. I feel like with the whole alcoholism bit, I should be allowed to say damn, but what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I did pretty damn good. All in all, nuclear war and the threat of it is still a very, very real thing, despite the fact that the Cold War ended back in the 90s, and we still need to worry about it. If you want to learn more about nuclear power, check out Kyle Hill on YouTube for some great content. If you want to learn about some fun stuff about archaeology, check out Mini Minuteman. And if you want to learn how to play diplomacy and learn how to lie to people like that, come talk to me. And finally, if you want to listen to the music that you're hearing right now, go and check out Ludwig and Schlatt's Musical Emporium. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in next year's final project. Also, just to be clear, I'm not actually racist. This was all for the funny bit. It's funny, guys. Racism is fun. Wait, no, I can't say that either. I messed up that line. Back off. It's like if a diplomacy game were, oh, that's a note for me later. All right, cool. Hey, sorry, I consider looking like a It's Soviet Sam, like Superman, but like Soviet. What? Do something funny. Hey, shake my hand. What? Shake my hand. Shake my hand. Shake my hand. Attack the hammer and sickle. You will be tried for your crimes.
Top 10 nuclear missile crises.
Top 10 nuclear close calls. Welcome back to tonight on Superman, Super Soviet Sam, Super Bam, damn. Soviets. We are with the Soviets. We are here today. This is recorded still. I'm gonna get like extradited.
Top 10 nuclear close calls. Number 7, the 1967 solar flare incident.
Oh wow, that is dork.
Get the camera.
Okay. All right, so this one is pretty simple. All right, I just saw it right twice. Okay, hold on, we do that again. All right, so this one's pretty simple. A U.S. biplane was shot by Hey, editor Sam. There's also Sam Chambers. No, I'm Sam. Shit. That's Sam. Hand Sam. He's also here. We're doing this part right now. I'm threading my belt for the bloopers section of the video. So you can use this. I'm putting that in.
Only the template.
It was the middle finger, guys.
No.
Miss Walthall, it was the middle finger.
Hi guys, this is the character on my shirt. She's from Love Live. It's one of my favorite games. Hi.
What was he talking about? Oh, I need a hat. Foolish. Oh wait, I'm a fool. Pasta fazool. Actually, never mind. We'll do that in post. It's fine.
Subscribe to the live.
It's going in. You guys are okay with that, right? That's not cringe at all. It isn't. Don't say it is. It's cool.
That'll have to work.
Hold on. I can green screen myself into a lot of places right now. Oh, but it was like it was right there. It was edging. I'm cutting that. Okay. Let's get the hat on so we look like him. So we look like we're about to talk about an archaeological mistake. What was it? Is it Bosnia? The Bosnian pyramids. Grr.